Hello, hello. Just getting myself set up here. Let me shut my door. Here we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Let me just get some people on here now. All right, so let's get started on mindset shift. I'm just going to log into my page here. Let's see if anybody hops on. I know it's been a little while since I was supposed to be going live. So let's see if this is in the event. No, we're live on the actual page. So how do I share this? Copy link. Just adding this to the event. So hold on one sec. Oh, we are live in the event. Okay, we're good. Okay, so mindset shift. I just wanted to talk about, the brain and what happens when we're in negative cycles, because I think that it's something that a lot of us struggle with, and it's in a lot of our programming is let's see if I can do this without it popping out. Nope. There we go. We have a lot of negative programming, and a lot of us are taught to be like this at an early age, and this affects us in all kinds of negative manners. Forgive me with the shaking of the camera. So it literally creates pathways in our brain that when done over and over again, which as a society and a lot of our parents taught us that fear and negativity, and the noose even teaches us this, that to think of the worst in things, it creates pathways in our brain, and they're called we have a beautiful process called neuroplasticity, and this process creates pathways in our brain. And as we strengthen them, there are rewired, like we rewire our brain to think like this constantly. So negative thoughts create the channels. This way thinking can become a default, so we are not used to our thinking having to be like this. Let me see if I can do this. That works a bit better. Okay. One of the many byproducts of negative thinking is stress. So when we're, experiencing a lot of stress and a lot of, problems in our life, part of that is, sorry, I can't seem to get myself set up today. I could not figure out how to get this on my laptop. So if anybody can help me with that, that would be greatly appreciated. But like, stress can make us sick. It can literally give us illnesses. So our mind is one of the most powerful things that we as humans have. It's a process that creates everything in our existence. So when we're hardwired to think negatively, we experience stress, we experience negativity, we experience bad results. We are stuck in the cycle, and it's as easy as rewiring, and rewiring takes repetition. So we need to spend some time in understanding what the process is of what it is that's happening in the brain. So what is neuroplasticity? It refers to the brain's ability to adapt. So that's the exciting process about this. So when we're stressed out, our prefrontal cortex, our brain, like our amygdala, takes over, and we get a stress response. And this happens in trauma. This happens in small instances too, where we experience too much stress, and that comes from negative thinking and negative thinking cycles. And those are from neuroplasticities, where we have hardwired ourselves to think in a certain way, and then we stress ourselves, and then we get ourselves into this cycle that creates fear and stress and anxiety, causing bad results, causing our amygdala to take over our brain into the stress response, which shuts down the front of your prefrontal cortex, the reasoning part of your brain. It literally does this on a daily, for some people, basis. And the importance of your brain and understanding that process, and understanding that you can choose better. One of the most powerful processes you can choose to rewire your brain is gratitude. And not just gratitude like, yeah, I'm thankful I have a house. Okay, but did you feel that? Do you honestly feel that vibration? You know, I just did a guided meditation to help with vibration, and it's designed through neurolinguistics programming to truly create. So I forgot I'm supposed to tag somebody. Hold on. I can't seem to comment. Nope. Okay. So when we're stuck in this cycle, we create pathways. So they're like these divots, and we can choose whatever we want, but we're stuck in these divots until we start creating through repetition, creating a different process. And daily gratitude is a very powerful way to shift your mind. So we're like computers, right? Like our brain functions in a specific way. So if we've taught it that negativity and stress and this cycle is how we're going to do it, it's going to wake up and it's going to do this automatically. It's going to look for instances around you to become stressed about. It's going to look at things in a very negative light so that you are put into this stress response. And that's why people talk about gratitude and how that helps shift you. This is really, really important to know. So you just need to learn that you need to be disciplined, and disciplined in the way of, wake up in the morning with intention. When you wake up in the morning with intention, you create a different energy for the day, and have the knowledge and the conscious awareness that you are in the negative cycle, and this is your default, and your brain is automatically going to be looking for all the negative circumstances, creating negative circumstances, clinging on to them, and you're just stuck. You're in this repeat cycle. It's like living Groundhog Day over and over and over again, because no matter how much you break out of that cycle, you have these processes embedded into your mind. So learning how to shift out of that is a really powerful process, because once it becomes habitual to be in gratitude and appreciation and that vibration, it unlocks different things in your life, because you are now looking at life in a more positive way. You're looking at life with intention to see the good. So how can you overcome, negativity and negative bias? There's good news. It's not too hard. Insecurity, sadness, anger, and all of these feelings, they all can be a really big trigger to doing this process. And the single most important factor is how do we talk to ourselves? Becoming aware of this process. What is your inner talk? What is your chat? Stress, trauma, and resilience. You got to think of that. So, what are your stressors, and become aware of what you're saying to yourself. Are you waking up and are you telling yourself you can't do this? How the world's against you? All of these things are going to send you into the negative bias. So yeah, negative bias is just keeping you stuck in this rut, and a lot of us are feeling it. A lot of us are being magnetized to try to manifest, and part of the process of getting good at manifesting and creating the space in order for this to happen is creating, getting rid of the clutter. Like, what is this clutter that's getting in my way? What are what are the seven major negative emotions? The emotion of fear. These are the causes of all the stresses that we experience as humans. So the emotion of fear, the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of revenge, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, and the emotion of anger. And when we really look at this in a deep, vulnerable, honest way, a lot of our negative feelings are coming from specific instances, like I'm feeling inferior, or I'm jealous that this person is doing better than I am, or I'm really too scared to get out of my comfort zone and change things. So these are what create the foundation of these negative emotions. And they can occupy the mind at the same time, so you can be starting to move into the positivity. So what are the positive? The emotion of desire, the emotion of faith. These are all really strong foundations for shifting your mindset, creating an unshakable faith in something higher than yourself, something, a process, anything, whatever it is to you. Create that foundation of faith. That is going to help you shift your mindset. The emotion of love. The more you can embody love, the more life flows, the better things go for you, the more strengthened you are. The emotion of enthusiasm. Get excited, allow yourself, give yourself permission. So if you have been stuck in this negative bias and these cycles, it's okay to give yourself permission to be vulnerable enough to be open, to be excited. Because I know when you've been let down a lot in your life, it is hard to do that, because it's easier to stay in a neutral negative feeling and be prepared for what's coming than be excited and be let down. That's a hard feeling. It takes a strong person to be vulnerable to do that. So give yourself permission to get into the feeling of excitement, because it's okay, because it's not always bad. And the more you can get into flow and figure out the process of this, the better things will go for you. And the emotion of romance, allow yourself to ebb and flow in romance and all that brings. Those are all really positive feelings. The emotion of gratitude, that is a very powerful, the number one most powerful way to shift your mind is to get into the feeling. Find whatever it is. Try on YouTube. I have my guided meditation on there from the new moon, and that entire process is using neurolinguistics programming to guide you to get into the vibration that you are meant to in order to move forward in your life. So you have to get into the feeling. Like, what do you feel when you feel grateful? Find something that makes you truly feel an emotion in your body. Like, that is the unlocking to gratitude. It's not writing it down methodically, just going about your day and hoping that things will work. It's sitting down with intention. This is doing this every morning with repetition. If you really want to get into it, do it morning and night. Gratitude in the morning and appreciation at night for all the things that you have. These are going to help align you. And the more you do things with repetition, the more you start creating those divots, and you start using neuroplasticity in your brain to reprogram how your brain is thinking. And the more you shift it over to the positive, the more things are going to open up for you, because you energetically align to the positive. So positive and negative emotions can occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. So that's what you need to be pushing your energy too. So you want to be pushing your energy, mindful of your energy, to be going over to the positive. Hi Mary. It is your responsibility to make sure that the positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. Here, the law of habit will come to your aid. So you want to get into the habit. And, if you want to create change in your life and you want things to shift and you want things to get better, you have to have discipline. It cannot be something where you just lightly choose gratitude whenever you feel like it. That you're not going to get change in your life until you start adopting the resistance to discipline. Discipline is going to be one of your biggest factors into shifting, into growing, into manifesting the life that you desire. So that's going to come to your aid. Form the habit of applying and using the positive emotions. Eventually, they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. So that's the process of mind shifting. You really want to be mindful about it. Twinny, can you invite Tracy, please, and a few other people? Because I can't, I'm connected to my business page, so it's not letting me, and I'm having technical difficulties today. So only by the following these instructions literally and continuously can you gain control over your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, if you guys aren't aware, is what your subconscious mind is the most powerful part of your mind. It is what helps you. It is what tells your body to breathe. It is what tells your body to your heart to beat. It is what governs your foundation of your hormones. It sends signals to the conscious mind. It is what has us animated and alive. So when you're gaining control over your subconscious mind, you're creating your reality. Do you want me to tag people? Sure. I just wanted Tracy because I told her that I would tag her and I couldn't figure out how to do it even on my phone. So thank you. I appreciate it. So continuously using discipline to get into gratitude, appreciation, finding positive things is a way of shifting your life for the better. And it's not always an easy thing. There are days when we wake up and the negative dominates the positive in our mind, but we need to cultivate. It takes energy. It's not just for anybody to hop on and think that life is going to be light and floofy and fantastic. No, there's some days you have to discipline yourself and press on until you shift and you get into that vibration. These are the the things that you will learn in my mentorship program coming up is how to cultivate this, how to create it as part of your routine. Create it as something that is going to create change in a drastic and lasting way. So pushing, you need to start pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Life isn't just about sleeping in and feeling amazing and disassociating in online things like apps like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all of these, YouTube. That's not just what life is about. And that's why your soul starts calling out to you saying, I need more than this. There's more to life than just what I'm living right now. And you got to listen to that little call inside, because that's your soul asking to create this lasting change. And there's people out here like myself and Crystal and Shannon and all these other people that are creating these programs in order to help people to do this. Because if you can't do it by yourself, you need to reach out to somebody that is going to help you to stop being that person stuck in the cycle, stop spinning in circles and burning out. Create the lasting change that you want. So the presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. So there is so much more weight to the negative thinking than there is the positive. It just takes one single adopted negative emotion where somebody does something that triggers you, or somebody says something and you decide that maybe I can't do this. and it just shatters everything, and you wonder why. It's because you spent a lifetime creating those pathways. So if you are an observing person, you must have noticed that most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed, or else they pray by a ritual of meaningless words. And because of it, as a fact that most people who pray do not do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt, which are the emotions of subconscious mind acts upon and passes on to infinite intelligence. Likewise, that is the emotion which infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. So this is how you, when you're stuck in these cycles, this is how you're creating these things over and over and over again, because negative emotions are so easy because you've reprogrammed your mind so much to be accepted. So be mindful when people are saying things about you and you feel bad about it. Don't accept it. You don't have to. You can say, that's nice. Like, that's nice. I believe different about myself. You have a very strong conscious mind, and it's there for a reason. It's there for you to decide, is this something that I'm going to adopt? Because if you just let things happen and you let, outer circumstances constantly be shifting how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your day, how your experiences are, you're allowing these cycles to just happen over and over again and be recreated. You have to stop these processes. So if you pray for a thing but have a fear as you pray that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. So these are things that you want to be mindful of when you're trying to manifest these. What vibration are you in when you're doing this? Are you coming from the intention and prayer of wanting better in your life and knowing that you're going to get it? Because if you're fearing like, well, I don't know if it's going to happen, you're literally creating the environment of that. And we're not perfect. This takes practice and it takes guidance. That's why there's mentorship programs out there. Prayer does sometimes result in the realization of that for which one prays. If you have ever had the experience of receiving that which you prayed, go back to your memory and recall your actual state of mind while you were praying, and you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. It explains that when you are in the proper vibration, excuse me, you create better circumstances for yourself. You're more in flow. You feel more ease. And it's because you're actually adopting that vibration. Your subconscious mind is saying, yeah, okay, and creating more of that. And you're literally you're like a walking computer, spitting out these results of what's being programmed inside. So what are you typing out to yourself? What codes are you sending to your computer? Are you sending negative and spitting out more negative? Because that's what's going to happen. And that's why I really wanted to hop on and do this video. I'm not going to do a long run. Gratitude prayer every day and watch miracles happen manifesting. But you have to really get into it with discipline. You have to do it daily, and you have to do it in the right vibration, and you have to do it understanding the process. You have to understand that there's a purpose for it. You have to get aligned with it. You have to be excited, and you have to know that if you have any fear, if you have any lower vibration of a negative emotion, that you're interrupting it, and it's just going to go right back to the regular programming that's auto programmed, and you're going to spit out more of the same. So let's go to the mind here. Broadcasting and receiving. Okay, so more than 20 years ago, I'm reading from Think and Grow Rich, just because he's got some really fantastic articles in here. So more than 20 years ago, the author, working in conjunction with the late Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Dr. Elmer R. Gates, observed that every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. through the medium of the ether in the fashion similar to that employed by the radio broadcasting principle. Every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations of thought which are being released by other brains. In connection with the in connection with the statement in the preceding paragraph, compare and consider the description of the creative imagination as outlined in the chapter on imagination. The creative imagination is the receiving set of the brain, which receives thoughts released by the brain of others. It is the agency of communication between one's consciousness or reasoning mind. So we have the reasoning mind, and then we have the subconscious mind. The subconscious is what just accepts things. It doesn't get to deduct anything. It just takes what you're giving in. So if it's negative you're feeding in, it's going to give you more of that. When stimulated or stepped up to a high rate of vibration, the mind becomes more receptive to the vibration of thought, which reaches it through the ether from outside sources. This stepping up process takes place through the positive emotions or the negative emotions. Through the emotions, the vibrations of thought may be increased. So whatever you adopt. So if you're you're stuck in this rut of constantly taking and looking for negative circumstances, you're going to be literally creating them because your subconscious mind takes it, adopts it, and spits out more of it. So there really is something to getting disciplined in your gratitude and getting disciplined in understanding your brain and how your brain works, because until you understand the processes that are happening, you're going to continue to spin out and you're going to continue to be, a victim essentially of, the process of manifestation that's happening and creating more of what you don't want. And it's not about fighting against your mind. That's more of the negative energy that you don't want. It's about letting go, quieting your mind. That's why meditation is so important for your mind. Meditating, gratitude, these rituals that you create every day sets you up for success and sets you up for this vibration of receiving these intuitive messages that help guide you to a better life and would guide you to things that are needed for you. Vibrations of an exceedingly high rate are the only vibrations picked up and carried by ether from one brain to another. Thought is energy traveling at an exceedingly high rate of vibration. Thought, which has been modified or stepped up by any of the major emotions, vibrates at a much higher rate than ordinary thought, and it is this type of thought which passes from one brain to another. Thought through the being broadcast machinery of the human brain. So we want to really get into these vibrations because we emit them, and when we emit them, other people receive them, and they are guided to you, they're attracted to you. So you see yourself as a beacon. So when you're doing these, you're essentially a radio. You're a broadcast radio, and whatever you're adopting, you are going to attract. So if you're accepting anything that somebody is saying to you, and that is so easy to do when we've been stuck in these cycles, and it's our natural, thoughtless process is to go to negative. When somebody says something and you're trying to do something and you're trying to break out of this cycle, and they go, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that, or maybe that's not going to work the way you think, and then you adopt it. This is the process that happens by your mind. You don't think about it, and you just let it go straight in. And when it goes straight in, you're like, yeah, maybe. And then it festers, and it does exactly what we're talking about. You can do the same thing with positivity. You can do the same thing with your affirmations. You can tell yourself, yes, I can do it, and allow it to go in and adopt and let it come out, and send that vibration out to the universe, and in turn have, the right circumstances attracted to you. you will see that the broadcasting principle is the factor through which you mix feeling or emotion with your thoughts and pass them on to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain through which vibrations of thought are broadcast. The creative imagination is the receiving set through which the vibration of thought are picked up from the ether. Along with the important factors of the subconscious mind and the faculty of the creative imagination, which constitute the sending and receiving sets of your mental broadcasting machinery, considered now the principle of autosuggestion. So this is where we get into the deep process of manifestation, but I wanted to go over mindset here because mindset is one of the most important things that you could ever do to shift your mindset. Interesting enough, men and women are a little bit different in how they process emotions. So manifesting is a different process for men and women. Same exact thing, it's just they process things a little bit differently. There's, good news that we can change things, gratitude, discipline, thoughtfulness, appreciation, really truly getting into these vibrations, choosing positive things. So making the choice, be poised and recognize what is happening when negative patterns start to get activated. You need to be conscious about this. This is how things change, is awareness. Once you start having these awarenesses, you can start, being in the driver's seat and changing these things. Even if it's something small, becoming aware of how these, reprogram, like how our subconscious mind just brings us straight into negativity. Become aware of it, even in the small things, even in our inner talk. That is the most important thing. Become aware of those little voices and that those processes that you're telling yourself, because those are what, if you are inclined to overanalyze parts of conversations that you assume are negative, figure out a hobby or a habit that keeps you from overanalyzing. This is, a very toxic cycle. And it's one that, a lot of us as empaths and a lot of us as, sensitive beings do. We overanalyze the shit out of everything. Sorry for swearing, but we do. And we don't understand just how negative and how toxic it truly is to creating, the mindset that we truly want. We need to let that go. We need to stop analyzing things, let things be as they are, and start focusing on, the now and the creating of the next moment. That's what needs to be shifted, not into, what's already happened and why it's, the way it is. It already is. That's all it is. Noticing that self-inner dialogue and substitute positive approaches. So you idiot becomes, I wish I had made a different choice. Find a better way to say and vocalize your feelings, because every single time you say it in your mind and every time it comes out of your mouth, it is incredibly powerful, and it is what is creating your entire being. So take it seriously and really take an inner look at yourself as to where am I saying these things without even being conscious that they're being said. I'm an idiot, I'm so stupid, and I can't do this, and nobody would like that, and just all of these inner things that you say on a daily basis. Become aware of them. But I will remember how I wish I acted and apply it to the future situations. So thinking things like that, be kind to yourself. These are all things. Another tactic that might feel strange at first, but can help in the approach your mean inner voice with kindness, is talking to yourself as if you would a friend. So find a different, way. I'm getting all these shift call outs, forgive me. Find a different, angle to come, a different perception, different angle to come at these things when you're finding yourself really stuck in this inner tactic. Ask yourself as if you were a friend. Are you feeling hurt? Like, find what it is that is triggering you, that is causing you to say the negative, um, self self sabotaging things. And when you're sarcastic and you've been, brought up in an environment where you say it as if you're teasing yourself, let that shit go, because that is the worst thing you could have ever adopted. And I know that I did it in a kitchen. I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And it's like, I didn't even think that I was actually accepting it, but you are, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know that you're teasing. It doesn't know that you think it's funny to show that space forward. It actually adopts it, and it thinks, okay, well, I'm lowly down here because I'm an idiot. Yeah, well, you told me I was, so I'm going to create circumstances so that you feel more like an idiot. And it's just this never-ending cycle. So thinking of your inner thoughts, getting into gratitude, and getting into it with discipline. Start moving forward in a space of actually making change, and not gratitude like, well, today, you know what, I think I'm going to try gratitude. No, make it part of your routine. Sit down and don't do a single thing in the morning anymore until you've gotten into the vibration. And don't just choose 10 and go, okay, well, I did it and it's done. Okay, that's not the process. Get into it until you get into the vibration, until you feel better, until you feel like you're floating, until you feel so grateful that you are awake that day, that you're alive that day. Get into the discipline of getting into that. So those two combinations together are really going to help shift your reality. And without the cultivation of discipline, nothing is ever going to change, because you're always going to find excuses. You're always going to be, distracted and moving out of cycles. And this is exactly why you're going to stay where you are. So these mindset shifts are awareness, gratitude, discipline, becoming, conscious of what's going on, changing your perception of things, and cultivating a different cycle, and doing it with repetition. So understanding the importance of doing this, not just 5 times, not for a week, not for 2 weeks, like until you find yourself just automatically doing it, and then keep going. That's really going to change things, and cultivate a gentle approach to yourself. Start showing yourself the love. Start acting as if you were the person that you're trying to become. Would you treat yourself this way? Would this be how you would treat the person that you're trying to become? Excuse me. What else did I have written down? I think that's basically everything. I didn't want to do too long of a live video. I just really wanted to give back some knowledge as to how to shift your mindset. If you want to have more in-depth knowledge and understand this cycle on a deeper way and get really lasting results, you can book a discovery call with me, and we can talk about whether you're a good candidate or not for my mentorship program. Spots are filling up actually really fast, so I wouldn't hesitate too long, because I've got, probably about 6 or 8 of them booked already. And most of these people are going to say yes, because who doesn't want to stop being the fly on the window, who wants to, continue to try. Like, my biggest thing is the smartest thing I ever did was invest in myself, and invest in somebody else coaching and helping me, because if I could have done it myself, I would have. That's the whole thing. So it was the best thing I ever did, not just because of financially, but because of the growth that I've experienced in the last 7-8 months. It's amazing. It's changed my life, and I want to offer that, moving forward to other people as well. So this program is, spiritual based mentorship program that brings you through healing on all different levels, and help you create discipline in your life, and processes for moving forward. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's healing through traumas, healing through these things, and creating goals and lasting results that, don't go up a little bit and then end up right back to the same programming, because you have this process going on. That's why I wanted to do the mindset shift and truly get into it. And I wanted to make people aware that I do have a very powerful meditation video that can be used in the morning. Try it for a few weeks. It's 30 minutes. So if you have 30 minutes in the morning, which if you are not cultivating time and space for yourself in the morning, you are just doing an unconscious pattern every day of allowing these circumstances to create your reality for you. So if you don't already have some kind of ritual or practice starting in the morning, start. It's on YouTube, so you can look me up at Mind, Body, Soul Healings. Do this powerful meditation that is designed to help you get into the vibration of gratitude, not just by writing it. It is actually designed to get into the feeling, and do it in a 30-minute process in a very powerful way. I use a lot of neuro-linguistics programming into this guided meditation. I gave it on the new moon to help with the manifestation energies of this new moon, because the alignment is very powerful. So don't miss out on this video. Look up Mind, Body, Soul Healings on YouTube, and you will see the, I think it was Taurus New Moon meditation. I can share it in this group here in the event too. I'll share it in here. Start doing it every day and do it with discipline, and don't make excuses. There is not one single thing in your life that is important enough to give up changing and shifting yourself to the life that you want. Plain and simple. There has to be some sacrifices. So if you want to change, what are you willing to give up to change? That's how these energies work. Are you willing to give up, your mindless time of scrolling on Facebook in order to do the 30-minute meditation, in order to get into the vibration and do it every single day? Because it takes repetition to create neuroplasticity in your brain, to create automatic pathways to doing this without having to be conscious about it. You still want to be dedicated to doing this on a daily basis, because it gets you in the right vibration anyways. But the more you do this, the more you create this, the more you embody it, and the more you become it. And the more you become it, the more your circumstances become it, and the more things change. That's how this whole manifestation thing works. There's way more keys to it than that, but that is the first thing you need to get into. If you are stuck in the negative cycles, if you love to complain, if you are a complainer, get rid of that crap now. Stop it. It is absolutely toxic. It does no benefit. This whole idea of this culture of venting, it's okay as a woman to hold space for a couple of moments to get these emotions out, because you're trapping them in your body. It's okay to get them out in a safe space with somebody that'll hold space for you, but don't continue to do it for a long period, because I find that we, as a culture, love to start complaining and then get into it, and then the other person feels justified to complain, and then it creates this space. So only do it when things are amped up so much that you have emotions that you need to let go of. These are going to be things that get you out of this funk that you're in. And you're always going to be a victim if you're always telling yourself that there's circumstances that are more important than shifting your mind and doing it in a dedicated way and doing it with conscious intention. You're never going to shift. How are you if you're going to do things exactly the same way as you always have, without dedication, without discipline, without intention? Then you're going to be continuing to create more of the same. So if you're feeling guided by any of the offerings, because I have a lot of events happening over the next few weeks, if you're feeling guided by any of them, in the comments In the description, I gave the link to book a discovery call with me. Definitely make sure that you get that in, because by June 1st, the mentorship program is going to start, and you will learn this process in detail and in an easy and efficient way to truly start creating lasting change in your life. And, I'm a huge advocate for it, because I went from probably, I think it was 2017. I was eating a boiled egg in the morning and a pack of ramen at night. That's where my finances were. I didn't have a savings account. I had, tons of debt. I had, living paycheck to paycheck, to about to make more in 3 weeks than I did in most of my years of working in the last 15 years. So it is a powerful process. It is lasting change. It's not going to get you moving 2 steps up and then falling down the rung, 5, and wondering why you keep getting excited. It's because you haven't ingrained it yet. You haven't created the neuroplasticity needed in the brain in order for it to be an actual function. So thank you for putting up with me today. I really had some serious technical difficulties with my laptop. I had to shift over to my phone, and then I was shifting around and playing with it. So if you do rewatch it, forgive me for my technical difficulties today. But once I started to get into it, it started flowing. So this is, some of the things that are going to be in the course. There's a lot of trauma healing, a lot of inner child healing, some really powerful processes that I've learned over the last few years, all incorporated in one powerful 12-month process that will have you being a completely different person that you wanted to be. It'll be creating yourself with intention, changing these things in yourself, and not just doing, little ceremonies hoping that if you get the right, combination, it's going to change who you are on the inside. I'm going to give you the process, and I'm going to show you how to have the discipline in order to do it, because there's only, a few percentage of the world that actually buckles down and does this, and show you, that the sacrifice is worth it. So if you're feeling your soul has been calling out to you, this feeling of, there has to be more than what I'm experiencing right now, and this resistance and this, almost frustration and this calling, and you end up on some of these videos, it is telling you, that it's time to sign up, invest in yourself, say yes to yourself, because when you get that feeling inside of your heart, inside of your soul, and it's the right alignment and the right person, it doesn't have to just be me. If you are on my video, odds are that you are guided to me in some way. But if it's somebody else, just invest in yourself, say yes to yourself, and start changing this process, because there is so many different layers to changing who you are and doing it in a lasting way. And we all deserve, because each and every one of you brings something magical to the table. We are not in competition. We all have gifts that were meant to be used in this life. And if you continue to keep trying to piece these little things together by yourself, being stubborn and rigid because you don't want to invest in yourself, you're going to continue to get the same results. And that is such a waste of life, because you are magical. You are an amazing human being, and there's people that need you in this life. They absolutely need you. They need you to say yes to yourself. They need to hear your story. They need to see your transformation, because it is part of their path. So you have a lot on the line, and you are a powerful being. Listen to that voice inside. Feel it, embody it, get excited, say yes to yourself, look up a program that you resonate with, and get started. Because this life that you keep going around in circles, I know, because I lived it. I was stubborn, and I thought, I'm smart enough to do this by myself. I'm smart enough not to invest the money. It was all excuses. I manifested more money than I'm going to say out loud here in 2.5 hours by believing in this process, listening to somebody Making the decision is the biggest thing. Making the decision without thinking about money, without thinking about time, without allowing these negative excuses that come up, because it's all BS. It is. Just say yes to yourself, make the decision, and allow everything else to happen, because it always does. When you look back on any circumstance where you manifested something amazing in your life, it was a decision without the thought of anything else other than it's going to work out. So book a call with me if you're interested. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, what do I have tomorrow? I don't even know. I have a trauma workshop, so we're going to go over trauma. I'll give some pieces and tips of what will be going on in the course for trauma, some education on that. So stay tuned for that. After that, I have really powerful healing circle coming up. We have some really exciting things here with mind, body, soul healings. What do I have after that? Saturn retrograde. Saturn retrograde is going to come in, so I'll help you guys figure that out. You know what? What else do I have? Mindset, trauma. The next day, oracle cards. So I will be doing intuitive oracle cards if you've been wanting any kind of often, but I will be offering that as well. Attachment styles workshop is on the 25th. So if you just want to head into my events on the business page, you'll be able to see all the different events that I have coming up. So attachment styles is going to take you through how you attach to other people, not just in a love relationship, but in general, how you ebb and flow in connection with another person. So if there's something interrupted in that, that is going to be interrupted in your entire process as a business person, your entire process in your friendships, in your love life. So helping you understand what your attachment style is, if it's secure, if it's avoidant, if it's ambivalent, if it's disassociated. All of these different types of attachment styles will help you piece all of this together. And that's how I created this course, was all these different pieces are going to be pieced together over 12 months and create a completely different you. And that's why I want to call it Phoenix Transformations, which is my other group. This is where the inspiration for the course came from. And then we come into May 26th, which is the full moon total lunar eclipse. So I will be doing a total event on that, giving you some powerful rituals and powerful processes on how to incorporate the healing of that into your journey for this month. May 27th is crystals. So I'm doing a specific workshop for crystals that help you with connection. So we were earlier in the video, I was going over about how we get these intuitive processes through the brain, how when we vibrate at a higher rate, we are more open, creatively open to receive different messages from other people, and how to really get into it with using crystals and other divinity tools. So I'm specifically going to go over crystals this time, in what the connection crystals are, what they do, basically in the video. And then inner child healing on the 28th. So I'll be going over some tips on how to get into an inner child healing. And then I believe, right offhand when I think of it right now, I'm probably going to do a guided meditation using neurolinguistics program for that. It's not a one-stop shop for inner child healing for sure. So I'll give you one of the processes that I'll be using to heal the inner child in the mentorship program. And then lastly, I'm going to end out the month with Mercury Retrograde workshop to go over what Mercury Retrograde is in detail, how it affects you, all the different levels that it affects you, and then help you to understand how how it affects you on a personal level. So with any of these astrology events, what I'm going to start doing is I have a link in the descriptions for these ones. So Mercury retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and the full moon total lunar eclipse. There are links to book a one-on-one session with me. So I'm going to have you book a one-on-one session if you want me to go into your chart in detail. It's free. But I'm going to bring up your chart and we'll talk a little bit before the live video, because it's proving to be very disruptive when I'm trying to do these videos to hop on and have me bring up all these charts. So it's much easier for me to look ahead of time and really get into the knowledge, and then I'll pass it forward in the live video for you. But I'm going to require that people book with me instead of adding details as we go in the live. If I've already got your info, not such a huge deal, but if you're new and you're feeling guided and you're going to want to be a part of that, definitely book a session with me. If you want to talk more about what this mentorship is and you're feeling that calling, book the session. I'll put the link in the comments again in the event, and stay tuned. I will see you tomorrow for a trauma workshop. Okay, have a good day, you guys.